I'm Lynne Sroczynski. I represent Hearts for Families, Region 5, specifically Waycross, Ware County. I'm here to talk about community engagement and how we in Ware County, or how our work groups had a community retreat to kind of get our community involved. We had this in September, this past September. To have this community retreat, we decided that we had to have some objectives, and those were to increase awareness in the community around the negative consequences of underage drinking, participation by law enforcement to support the awareness of risk and penalties of underage drinking, engage in discussions regarding risk and penalties of underage drinking, and establish the connection between use of alcohol and other criminal offenses. We knew that inviting them, the community, to a retreat about underage drinking, that we might get the work group members there, and that would be about it. So we sent out an invitation that looked like that invited them to a retreat for the vision of their children's future. We had 56 community members who RSVP'd and 50 members who actually attended. So we were very, very pleased that we had that community. The theme of the retreat was Let's Go Fishing. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I keep knocking that over. We had tackle boxes, we had Go Fish cards, and each sector of the community was assigned a fish from the Go Fish card. If you were from the media, you got one kind of fish. If you were from the faith community, you got one kind of fish, and so on. We had goldfish crackers, we had fish balls on the tables, and you kind of get the idea. Everything was around fishing. To start off the morning, we had little jars of an uncooked egg, a raw egg, sitting on the table, and we poured 2 ounces of vodka in it. And this was for a visual to watch during the day what vodka will do to your brain. So, you know, they kept watching and watching and watching. Well, by the end of the day, the egg was cooked. We wanted them to be involved. We weren't just giving them information. The morning part of the session was we were raising their awareness. So we started off by giving them truths or myths about alcohol. We didn't give them the answers right away. We wanted to give them some more information throughout the day so they could answer it on their own. Then we went on to the contributing factors. You received those during your evaluation training, the list of those. So we asked each table to circle the top 3, what they felt like were the contributing factors for Ware County. Number 1 was ease of alcohol. Imagine that. And number 2 was the cultural attitudes of practice to high substance use. And then number 3 was the ease of access to other drugs. Then we put the questions that you ask your community in your community readiness interviews on the table, and we asked for some discussion around that. When we moved up, as the participants gave us a score of 5, when the interviews were done, we got a score of 3. But still, the lowest score on that particular activity was how knowledgeable are community members about underage drinking. That score was a 3, which is vague awareness. So we still see we have a ways to go. Then we heard stories, local stories. The first one was from this teacher of the year of Ware County for last year. He had just retired. He took his first drink at age 13 and fell in love with alcohol. He was the son of a judge. Nobody bothered him. Nothing was ever done to him. And he drank. He went to school drunk. He tried to go to college. Didn't want to. That was his parents' dream. So he just drank. He went to California. He was a hippie. He was in Colorado. Smoked weed. So finally, after the death of his best friend, he decided, that could have been me. He decided that he needed to put the alcohol away. And he went back to college. And he decided to be a mentor to numerous youth over the years. He turned in one of his principal's daughters for coming to school high. And his fellow teachers said, "I can't believe you did that. You're going to get fired." And he said, "If I save the girl's life, my job's, doesn't really matter." Well, he didn't get fired, and the girl came back to him and said, "I thank you so much for my sobriety." The next speakers were a couple who lost their son to alcohol poisoning last year because of social norms, accepting the social norms in St. Simon's, and this goes on all over the state, but this was in St. Simon's. Parents rent beach houses, and they go, the kids, and there's no parents to be found, and the kids go from house to house to house drinking, and their son did that. And at the last house, he funneled beer from the keg, and he passed out. And being the good friends that they were, they moved him out of the way, and after several hours, they noticed he hadn't moved. So they put him in the shower to try to wake him up. He still didn't move. So being the good friends that they were, they called the police and scrammed. Nothing was done to anyone. And his friends were just appalled at the parents because they wanted something done. So the mother's only relief to her sadness is that she is speaking to groups like ours, that she can get the story out. After the participants had become more aware that there is a problem, that this does go on in our community, we asked them to write what they felt like were the strengths and weaknesses of the community. And from that, they wrote an action plan. So from the impact of this retreat, we now have more work groups attending our meeting, work group members attending our meetings. We have been identified to come and present at other community events, and we have had community members write what they felt like were their strengths and weaknesses. Now you've got to remember, and you probably don't know this, I don't live in Ware County. When I was assigned to go to work there, I knew absolutely no one. The first thing that I did was contact their family connection coordinator to help me greet and meet other people. So they wrote their action plan, and then from there we have been able to identify the gaps. Thank you.